Hi there, I'm Gigi. Welcome to our very special 2023 Solstice reading. This is one of my favorite days of the year. When I taught science, I used to like to teach about the solstice and the equinox because they are very good landmarks as we go through the year of just how far we've come and gives us a sense of where we're headed too, especially this solstice, the winter solstice, as we celebrate the return of the light. Right now, I am taking these cards and making sure that they get really mixed up so we get a brand new tarot reading for you and not a leftover of one I've done before. The deck I'm using today is the Light Seers Tarot, appropriately enough, by Chris Ann. I love this deck. It's my home base deck. It's where I feel really comfortable. I feel like this deck really talks to me, and the imagery is really rich. The colors are bright. Just has a lot to say. So as we come down on the end of this deck, you're going to be able to choose your reading in one of two ways. I'm going to deal these cards into three piles. I don't know if deal is really the right word, but we're going to separate these cards into three piles. You can choose either the pile that calls to you the most or the crystal that we'll choose for each pile that calls to you. So we're going to riffle these two decks back together. I'm going to do things a little bit differently than I usually do. I'm actually going to fan these cards out the best of my ability. It's hard on this table. It's very slippery. There we go. And we're going to pull this way. Okay. So now for our crystals. Pile number one, we're going to use this little tektite. And tektites are really cool because they're actually made during a meteor strike. So there is a whole lot of energy in this kind of little piece of stone here. And they're a little bit translucent. Tektites are really cool. So if you're looking for something kind of outside of the realm of the ordinary, this is going to be the pile for you. Pile number two is going to get this happy little bumblebee jasper because the colors in it, the yellows and oranges, really remind me of the sun, and we are celebrating the return of the hours of sunlight in the day. This is a really great stone for self-confidence too. So if your confidence needs a little bit of a boost, this is going to be a good pile for you. And finally, pile number three is going to get this beautiful silky, milky moonstone. As we have the bumblebee jasper depicting the light returning, we also have our moonstone representing the hours of darkness, as tonight is the longest night of the year. So take a moment, choose your pile, and then go to the description and find the timestamp for your pile so that you can get your reading for the day. See you in a minute. Hello, pile number one. You chose this special spacey little tektite, bringing lots of that energy into your life. We're going to dive in to your solstice reading. With the return of the light, we look to your shadow self. And what the essence of your shadow self is the star, the side of you that can be hopeful, which to a lot of people, they think, oh, well, that's a light thing. But if you've had a lot of trauma and setbacks and disappointments in your life, hope can seem like a really complicated emotion. So if that's the case for you, I want you to find something in your life that is your constant, your North Star, the thing that you can rely on. And study that in a way, like get to know it, get to recognize it. So that way, when things in your life look dark, you can identify that light in the night sky, that little North Star for you to be able to focus on. A lesson that you can learn from your shadow self this year is temperance. So maybe you are really exuberant when you're in the light work stage. You know, you're up and over the top and you're just going for it. And that's great. But there has to be a counterbalance to that, the downtime, the rest, the recuperation. If we're going at 11 all the time, eventually you're going to run yourself out and get burnt out and be at zero. And then it's really hard to overcome that inertia. So make sure that you're counterbalancing all of your energy and your passion and your over the topness, which we love, with downtime, with rest, with restoration, those sorts of things that your soul also craves. Don't fall into the myth of hustle culture. Finally, this is a message from your light self to your shadow self. And this is our Eight of Swords, telling you that a lot of the prisons you find yourself in, you've made yourself in your mind. So if we can redefine our relationship with ourself and how we connect to ourselves, then we can start to rewrite some of the stories that we tell ourselves. And that is where you find the key to open up that lock on the prisons of your mind and really change the way that you're living your life. So, to summarize, keep a constant North Star in your life, something to give you hope, something that you know you can rely on so that when things get dark, you have a little spark of light to follow. Balance is your friend. So go for it, be passionate, be over the top, but also allow yourself time to rest and to come down. And finally, you can walk out of the prisons that you've made for yourself if you just redefine how you talk to yourself, how you think about yourself and the world around you. So if you aren't sure how to do that yourself, there are plenty of great books and professionals who can help to kind of help you shift your perspective so that way you don't feel trapped anymore. I hope that this reading was illuminating and entertaining for you, and that this winter solstice brings you bright light, warmth, and wisdom. If you'd like, you can join me at the end for a little special goodbye message, but if this is all you need, then thank you so much for visiting, and I hope to see you in the next video. Hello, pile number 2, and welcome to your solstice reading. You chose this spunky little Bumblebee Jasper, representing our sun and our light in today's reading. We are going to dive right in. Okay. Looking to your shadow self for this, the longest night of the year. The essence of your shadow self is actually what helps you to manifest and make the magic that's in your life. So even though there are parts of you that you would rather ignore or that you would prefer to go away, they are actually the most potent parts of you when it comes to making magic and to making things that you imagine into reality. So don't write off those sides of yourself that you would rather see disappear. Instead, you want to figure out how to integrate them in a healthy way into your life so that way you can be a well-balanced person and the magic that you make can be whole. A message from your shadow self this year is to nurture yourself a little bit more. I have a feeling that you are the kind of person who tends to go, go, go. And Pico, my assistant, just went by. I hope he didn't disturb you too much. If your tendency is to go, go, go and really be in your masculine energy a lot, this card is all about surrender and leaning into the more feminine side of your personality, because we all have masculine energies and feminine energies. It's just a matter of when and how do we lean into them and use them. So this year, you're being encouraged to lean into that feminine energy and that receiving energy a little bit more than that projecting energy. Finally, this year, I want you to be thinking ahead rather than living by the seat of your pants all the time. And I think you know what I'm talking about here. So think of your life, and this might sound a little cliche, but bear with me. Think of your life like a trip that you're going on or a journey, and think about your itinerary. You know, what are the things you want to see and learn from on this trip? What are the things that you'd rather not revisit this time around? And how can we make more room for the things that we want to usher in? So to summarize for you, lean into your shadow side and try to integrate it so that your magic is whole. Nurture yourself this year. Really do the things that are going to help your mind, body, and soul be at peace and feel complete. And finally, make sure that you are planning ahead and not always living in survival mode, because it's really hard to thrive when all you're trying to do is survive. I hope that this reading was illuminating and entertaining for you. And if you'd like, you can join me at the end for a farewell message. But if this is all you need, then thank you so much for joining me, and I hope to see you in the next video. Happy Solstice. Hello there, pile number 3, and welcome to your solstice reading. You chose the mysterious moonstone as your stone today, which is really good for balancing energy and also for dream recall. So if that's something that you've been working on lately, you definitely chose a good stone. Okay, we're jumping into your solstice reading. And one thing that your shadow self would like to see you do more of is to be moving with intention. So this might be a moving meditation where you're using movement to settle your mind, quiet your soul. It could be that you just plan a little bit more. So as you move through the world, it's a little more intentional and a little less reactive. But we want to make sure that you are moving forward, not staying stuck looking backwards. The rear view mirror is smaller than the windshield for a very good reason. One thing your shadow self would like you to lean into this year is letting things go that are heavy and that don't serve you anymore. So this could be physical things where maybe like you have clothes that you haven't worn in 3 years, time to get rid of them. You've got a library of books that you know you're never going to read again. Donate them so that other people can enjoy them. But in a more spiritual sense, there might be memories that you ruminate on that you can't change. They're in the past. It's time to learn from them, but move forward, not staying stuck in that energy. Finally, this year is going to be a really great year for growth. But in order to grow, you've got to work in your shadow and your light. Shadow self is usually the part of you that you'd rather ignore and pretend doesn't exist and will to go away. But those parts of you are equally as important as the parts of you that you celebrate and that you turn the dial up on. Both are aspects of you that have meaningful lessons to teach. So rather than ignore the parts of you that you'd rather would go away, ask them, what do you have to teach me? That there's a really fundamental lesson in there that you've maybe been missing up until now. So to summarize, move that body, let things go that don't serve you anymore, and take advantage of this new opportunity to reconcile your shadow self and your light self together. I hope that this reading was illuminating and entertaining for you. Thank you so, so much for joining me, and I wish you a very happy solstice. If you'd like to meet me at the end of this video, you can just stick around and I'll give you a little goodbye message. But if this is all you need, then thank you again for joining me, and I hope to see you in the next one. Thank you so much for joining me for today's solstice reading. I hope that as the days get lighter, so does the energy in your life, and that you can work to reconcile with your shadow self. So that way going forward, you're a whole person, not a person trying to ignore half of who they are. That's not a very fun feeling. If you like what you see, please like this video and subscribe so you don't miss any of our other readings. We do readings on a weekly basis and also these special holiday readings when the event calls for it. May your 2023 solstice bring you bright blessings. Thank you again. Take care.